Hello. I hope you enjoyed and are feeling successful from part A of this. And now we're going to move on to part B. You're really going to need a calculator. And I want you to use this same calculator that I am using. It's this blue one. It's called calculator hashtag. You need to get it from self-service if you haven't already. So let's get started. We're going to actually do some math. We're going to find some probabilities. So experimental probability is as simple as dividing two numbers. So let's take a pause there real quick. The vocab term here is experimental probability. Experimental just means you're doing an experiment. So it means you're going to do something over and over and over again and then figure out a probability from that. So let's call it many experiments. So like flipping a coin. You would flip a coin 100 times, and that's experimental probability. All right, there's a typo. Made me angry, drew my angry face there. You take the number of times something happened and divide it by the total number of trials. So it's very simple to find probability for experimental probability. It's as simple as dividing two numbers, and then you multiply by 100, but we'll get into it. So here's the experiment that this person did. It's a survey. So they asked all these people the same question. Are you doing 4-year private college, 4-year public college, 2-year school, a trade school, or are you not planning to go to college? So, and this is freshman, right? So you got 4 years to figure it out. All right, so the first question is, how many total freshmen were surveyed? How many times was this experiment done? All right, so this is how many people responded for each question. 8 people, 4-year. 14 people, 4-year. 26 people, 2-year. 11 people, trade. 4 people, no college. How many total people is that? Let's add it up. 8 plus 14 plus 26 plus 11 plus 4. We get 63. Now, something that I do is I always find the total of my table first, and I write it down next to the table. It's just a quick and easy thing that I do to keep track. How many total freshmen were surveyed? 63. You could write a whole sentence if you want to, but it's not necessary for this. It says, what is the probability? All right, so whenever you see the word probability, it means you're going to divide two numbers. So you're going to take again, what it says up here. You take the number of times something happened and divide it by the total number of trials, which is a fancy way of to say the number of times you did the experiment. So for all of our answers, we're always going to have our total times the experiment that you did on the bottom. And then on the top is how many times what you're asking about happened. So it says freshmen do not plan on going to college. So what the question is about. And then just like when we were solving equations, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide from top to bottom, and then we're going to multiply by 100. So let's do it. Now that you have a little thing, I would suggest that you write this down. If you're new to probability and you need a little help, I would write that down and use it as a guide every time you have a question like this. So what the question is about is not planning to go to college. Does not plan to go to college. Does not plan to go to college. Okay, so that goes on top. And then the total times the experiment was done was 63, the total number of freshmen. And then we're going to multiply by 100, and that's going to give us a percent. The reason why we multiply by 100 is to find the percent. So 4 divided by 63 times 100 and it's 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. So we're going to round that to the nearest 100th. Again, I'm not going to be super picky about how you round it, but I am going to be super picky. If you are finding the probability, you need to always write the percent symbol after your final answer. If you multiply by 100, it becomes a percent, and you need to write percent. Okay, I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. You're going to see these questions go by really, really fast. The next question says, what is the probability? So we know, set ourselves up for success. We know we need to have two numbers. We need to multiply by 100. That a randomly chosen freshman plans on going to two-year college. So looking up at our table, we see that 26 people said that. So it's the number of people who did what the question is asking about over the total. Let's go, I'm just going to change. Oh no, I put in the wrong numbers. You guys, 63. Sorry you guys, going back here and fixing that. 6.35 would be the answer. Whoops, okay, keeping going. Now our answer has changed. The 4 has changed to 26. So you don't need to retype the entire question every time. Rounding it to the 100th, we get 41.27. Okay, let's try another one. We got, what is the probability? So stop there, set yourself up for success, times 100. And for this question, the total is always going to be 63 because all these questions are about the same table. So there we go. And it says plans on going to a 4-year college. So looking up here, there's 2 types of 4-year colleges. So when that happens, you have to add them together. So it's 8 plus 14 because they're both 4-year colleges. So going back, and you can tap in this calculator, which is really nice. Just type what you want, tap on what you want to change. 8 plus 14, and we get 34.92. And since we multiplied by 100, it's a percent. All right, next one. It says, what is the probability? All right, we're going to stop there. We know it's over 63 because it's the same exact question every time. And it says, plan on going to a 2-year or 4-year college. So erase what we have up here. These are both 4 years. This one is a 2-year. And so we're going to do all 3 of those numbers added together. So 8, 14, and 26. 8 plus 14 plus 26. Going over to our calculator, we're going to tap on that top and make it pretty easy. Just go plus 26, right? These are starting to go pretty fast, I hope, for you. 76.19%. All right, next one. What is the probability that a randomly chosen student does not plan on going to trade school? So again, probability, always over 63 while we're still using that same question. And not trade school means everything that is not a trade school. So that would be not going to college, 2-year, 4-year, 4-year. So we're going to do all of those numbers added together. 8 plus 14 plus 26 plus, what was the last one? 4. All right, so we're going to go plus 4 there, and we can see that it is 82.54%. Okay, so let me pause there real quick. Let me show you a trick. Instead of having to add everything up, you could just subtract, and that's kind of a good trick. If this is confusing to you, don't worry about it. You don't have to use this trick. It's just kind of a time saver. So not going to trade school, we know that there are 11 people that are going to trade school. Therefore, 63 minus 11 people are not going to trade school. So that would be 52. So instead of adding 4 numbers together, we could just subtract 2 numbers. And so we could put that in on top here and say 63 minus 11, 82.354, and that's the same answer. So just a little trick, you can always subtract instead of adding when you see that word not. Okay, here's a little tricky one. It says if the school has 550 freshmen, how many would you expect to plan on going to a tier 2-year college? So this is about probability, but it's also about going back to proportions. So they're saying, for this, we're saying there's a total of 550 freshmen. But in our experiment, we know that there was only 63 people who were surveyed. So if you guys remember from the song, find the 2 bigs and the 2 smalls. Maybe you don't remember that, that's okay. But this is gonna be the big, and this is gonna be the small, and this is gonna be our total, and this is going to be the amount that the question is about. Okay, so maybe I'll use a question mark there. All right, and so the small number is from our experiment. So 2 years of college, 2-year college, wow. I am stuttering up a storm here. So we have 26 is our number for 2-year college. So I'm gonna put 26 right there. And then essentially what we're doing is solving for x, just like we did earlier in the school year. And so we can solve a proportion. Another way to do this is, which is essentially the same as solving a proportion. So we would multiply these two, 63x, multiply these two, 26 times 550, we get 14,300. And then we divide by 63 on both sides because we want 1x, not 63 x's. So we divide by 63, 226.98. And since we're talking about humans, freshmen, we're going to round that up because it's 0.98. So we'll round up to 227 freshmen for our answer there. The other way that you can do this, which is kind of cool, and it's, again, like I said, it's the exact same thing really, but it just saves you a little bit of time. You take the proportion that you would set up, so it would be 26 over 63. You would take that, that's the probability of going to a 2-year college. And then instead of multiplying by 100, which would give you a percent, you're going to multiply by our total, which is going to give you out of 550. So this is just a little trick to save you some time. You can always solve the proportion if you would like, or you can get the same answer by setting it up with a 550 instead of a 100. All right, so there you are. There's your second lesson. Keep going. Do the rest of this. We will talk to each other about these answers in class on Monday or Tuesday. Good luck. Feel free to reach out with any questions.